Welcome to Histoglorik.
In the summer of 1314, Scotland stood on the edge of destiny. For nearly 20 years, the Wars of Independence had raged, a struggle marked by betrayal, exile, and the clash of armies. At the center of it all was Robert the Bruce, once a hunted fugitive, now the crowned King of Scots. His dream was simple yet dangerous: a free Scotland, free from English rule. The English still held Stirling Castle, a key fortress in central Scotland. Bruce's brother, Edward Bruce, had besieged it, forcing the English governor to agree. If no relief arrived by June 24th, the castle would surrender. But this deal gave Edward II of England a deadline and an excuse to march north with a massive army to crush the rebellion once and for all. Robert the Bruce could muster only around 7,000, 8,000 men, mostly infantry. Edward II's force was nearly double, with thousands of heavily armored knights and longbowmen. Bruce knew that meeting them on open ground would be suicide. Instead, he chose his battlefield carefully: the marshy banks of the Bannockburn, south of Stirling, where the terrain would work against English cavalry. His army formed into schiltrons, tight squares of spearmen trained to hold formation even while moving. On June 23rd, the English vanguard approached. In a moment that would become legend, the young English knight Sir Henry de Bohun spotted Bruce riding a small gray horse, armed only with an axe. Seeing his chance for glory, de Bohun charged. At the last moment, Bruce sidestepped, rose in his stirrups, and brought his axe crashing down on de Bohun's helmet, killing him instantly. The Scots roared in triumph. Their king had struck first blood. The day's fighting continued as English cavalry tried to force their way through, but Bruce's traps and schiltrons held firm. Clifford's flanking maneuver was stopped cold, and by nightfall the English were unsettled and morale was shaken. That evening, Bruce's council debated whether to fight the next day. A defector from the English camp revealed their army was disorganized and demoralized. The decision was unanimous: they would attack. At dawn on June 24th, the English formed up, cavalry in front, archers and infantry behind. To the astonishment of many, Bruce ordered his schiltrons to advance across the open field. The English archers loosed deadly volleys, but Scottish light cavalry swept in, scattering them before they could inflict heavy losses. The Earl of Gloucester, eager to prove his courage, charged ahead of the main force with a band of knights, straight into the waiting spears of Edward Bruce's schiltron. Gloucester fell in the first clash, and the English cavalry was thrown into chaos. The Scottish spearmen kept advancing, step by relentless step, driving the English back toward the Bannockburn and the surrounding marsh. Now hemmed in, the English knights could not use the momentum of their great war horses. Scottish arrows rained down, and panic spread through the English ranks. When Robert's troops pressed forward, the English line broke. Edward II fled the field with his personal guard, and the retreat turned into a rout. Many were cut down as they tried to escape. Thousands more were captured. Scottish losses were light, but for England, it was a disaster. The victory at Bannockburn shattered English control in Scotland and gave Bruce the freedom to raid deep into northern England. 14 years later, the Treaty of Edinburgh-Northampton recognized Scotland's independence and Robert the Bruce as its rightful king. Bannockburn was more than just a battle. It was the moment Scotland proved that courage, strategy, and unity could triumph against overwhelming odds. More than 7 centuries later, the fields south of Stirling still whisper of that day, when a small nation stood firm and changed the course of history.
Subscribe our channel for more videos.